2019 has come to a closing and 2020 is knocking on our doors. This year we made a few changes to our homestead. So this year we moved our planter boxes over here to the side of the property. We'll get a little more shade from the building here, so that'll help. A lot of our stuff was drying out very fast. We have extreme full sun. I live here in Florida. In the process of moving these garden boxes, we used a bobcat, a skid steer, to get up under here. We started with this one, pulled it from over there and set it down. This one fell over and we lost everything, all that soil. All of our strawberries fell out onto the ground. These were the strawberry plants that I salvaged. Obviously, strawberries are perennial, so they'll come back every year. So no need to buy new strawberries. They actually reproduce pretty readily. The strawberries that we have reproduced so much now that we need to go ahead and modify what we've done here. We finally got the planter box rebuilt, put the soil back, salvaged as many strawberries as we could, and we're gonna replant. It seems like it's a good time to go ahead and create a new planter box for strawberries. This one right here had like squash in it last year, and squash wasn't really doing as good as I wanted it to do in this anyhow. So I'm gonna just switch it over to strawberries because we have an excess or surplus of strawberry plants. So we'll have more strawberries, and strawberries are delicious, so who doesn't like strawberries? So another thing we're gonna do differently this year is we're gonna actually create a mound in the center and have just a lower amount of soil on the sides. Put our main strawberry plants, the initial plantings, in the center. And that way, whenever the strawberry runners come and they start to fall over, they'll fall over to the sides, and we'll be able to harvest those and replant those into new locations. So that'll be cool that we can kind of continue the process. And I have a feeling, because we have more soil in the center, that the strawberry plants that we do plant are going to do much better. They'll have more room per plant and more soil per plant, so they should do a lot better than they've done in the past. The first bed's planted, and this is roughly the spacing we're going to have. Pretty tightly spaced because these plants have plenty of room to grow on the sides, and they don't need a whole lot of space. One row turned into 2 rows of strawberry, which is now going to turn into 3 rows of strawberry because we have all of these left over. All right, so we got the 3rd bed finally planted, and I will say way more strawberries than I ever thought would have fit in one bed before. But I have no doubt that we're going to get more strawberries now than ever, because these strawberries have the space that they actually need. Which leaves us just this 4th bed that we're gonna have to figure out what we can do. And obviously winter hasn't fully set in here in Florida, so we're gonna have to figure out what we can do that would not be a waste of our time when winter actually hits full time. I know many of y'all remember I had pigs here 6 months ago, and the pigs finally matured. But what the pigs left behind was what I thought was amazing. Hundreds of little baby plants. Now these are tomatoes, and I've contemplated the idea of transplanting some of these tomatoes over into the garden bed, but I just don't see why that would even be a good idea, because they're going to do great here with all the swine fertilizer, and that leaves that bed open for a new plant to put in there. So I'm going to have to figure out what I want to actually put in that other bed. I haven't decided yet, but this year I'm going to be more successful than ever at actually being able to live off the land and sustain a... Last year I shot for a 40% diet. I probably blew that away. I probably only hit about 20% diet of living off the land here, which was kind of a disappointment, but a big learning process. Our flock of chickens was devastated by a fox. We had a vixen fox, a red fox, that came through and killed about 5 chickens in one day. And we had free-range chickens because we just thought that was the best thing we could do for them, and we wanted it to be as natural as possible. But that vixen fox came in and killed about 5 chickens, eliminated all egg production, and set us back another, 6 months before we'd even see eggs from a new flock of chickens. So that hurt us. But the swine, or the pigs, we did get a lot of meat, and I'll show you how much meat I'm talking about. Let's go ahead and water in our strawberries so they'll be able to get well rooted. They've gone through a lot of trauma, but strawberries actually do very well in harsh conditions. They can tolerate extreme cold. They grow as far north as Alaska. As long as the roots are not frozen, then they typically are okay. The variety of strawberry that grows up in Alaska is called the alpine strawberry, which is a smaller variety of strawberry, but is supposedly one of the best tasting strawberries. Now what we have here is a mixture of alpine strawberries and a much larger variety of strawberries that I just can't quite remember which variety that other one is. But I know that the Alpine, as far as flavor goes, you know, you're gonna want to get more of those. They just taste so good. I mean, they're delicious. Growing 40% of our food last year was probably unrealistic. But this year, all of our plants are much more mature. We're actually producing fruit now, which for the first year, we've got old enough, more mature trees that can actually start to produce fruit. Like this guava tree, it's only 2 years old, but it's already started producing guavas. Let me show you what those guavas look like. This is what a guava looks like. And I promise you, they are one of the most delicious fruits I've ever had. Totally underestimated it. Not real big on some exotic fruits like papayas, which I have a lot of papayas grown because they're good producers. And it could make a difference in me sustaining a diet here on the homestead. But the guava flavor wise is very good. It's probably one of my top favorite fruits that are out there. If you haven't had a guava, the texture is almost like the crispness of a peach and the flavor of a fig mixed with like a really sweet, peachy kind of taste. Just totally unique, really, but well worth the investment. We had 2 planted here on the side of the house. One made it, one didn't. And it isn't cold hardy, so if you live up north, you need to take covers and protect this tree. And this right here is actually from the cold snap we had this year, this browning on the leaf. But the more mature the tree is, the more resilient the tree is, and the better it'll survive in those cold circumstances. We actually have 3 of these loquats on our property. Those loquats were planted around 3 years ago. They were in a pot and stunted for about 4 years before that. So once they really get established, they grow fast. That's about 5 years of being in the soil. And we're gonna go ahead and cut this guava fruit up and take a look at it and see what it actually looks like. Beautiful pink color. Now these are the seeds and they are hard, so you want to be careful when chewing this, but you should be able to just extract them with your mouth. All right, that's it. Cut. That's it.